We're going to have another speaker coming up shortly, which is my privilege to introduce. His name is Dan Schwartz. He happens to have the role of Dean of the Graduate School of Education here at Stanford. Now, I'm going to ask a hard question, a question that many of us on the faculty ponder. What does a dean actually do besides sign my paycheck? I thought about this for a while, and I think I came up with a version that is not going to get him to withhold his signature on my next paycheck. But a dean is presenting and advocating for a vision. That's what a dean's role is in the institution. And so what we're going to be looking for from Dan, aside from his sly, witty remarks and tremendous amounts of supporting data and theory that goes behind the work, is some vision. So Dan, will you please come to the stage and share with us some insight?
That's about 1/3 of the job. This is an ed tech event, and there's lots of kinds of tech. But the big question, wherever I go, is AI going to make a revolution in learning? Is it going to change education? The question used to be, how much time is too much time for my kid on the cell phone? That was easy to answer. If you're asking the question, it's been too much. This one's a little tougher, right? And so in new classic fashion, I asked Gemini to get me some pictures of the future classroom that has AI in it. I gave this one about a D. We have a computer in front of a chalkboard. So I thought this was like a D. This one, I give an A. So even though now it's got the robot in front of the classroom, if you look here, it's got a robot in the class. So I thought that was pretty creative. So a number of my colleagues, the faculty at Stanford, the productivity tools have really upended higher education, where they can ask it to write an essay, it can solve math problems, physics problems. I hear a great deal about loss of critical thinking. Victor, I've talked to a lot of people. I've decided the definition of critical thinking is don't be stupid. And so that's hard to teach to directly. And so I have a lot of compassion for my colleagues, particularly if you have a large hall class, you're just gonna have to redo your curriculum. And so I feel for them. But this isn't what I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna talk about tools that are built specifically for education, not tools that have been developed for performance support. And let me give you an example. This is one of my favorites. This is from Dennis Wall and Nick Haber. It's a collaboration between the School of Medicine and the Graduate School of Education. And what this glass can do that the child's wearing is read people's facial expressions and detect their emotions. And then on the glass, it'll put the word. It'll say like happy, sad. So if you're a child on the spectrum, this is really empowering, right? Because it lets you know. And so in this particular scene, the child says to the mother, "Mommy, I'm a mind reader." And the mother cries, right? It's amazing. So then they went further and they used all the data they had collected through the Google Glass to make this game. Ellen DeGeneres plays this game. You hold the camera up in your forehead and it's showing a picture, and then the child's supposed to imitate so that you can guess what the picture's showing. So this can go down to the age of 3, and it can automatically detect neurological disorders while the kid's interacting with you. So this is really important because there aren't biological markers of these disabilities, and so to be able to detect early while you're in the window of high plasticity makes a big difference. And so the game adapts and starts providing particular kinds of instruction for the parent and the child. So this is purpose-built, right? This is not a generic tool. So this ability to create these tools has led to this Cambrian explosion. So the Cambrian period, I think it was like 540 million years ago. Before that, it was kind of like ooze and sludge. And this is where all the body form showed up. like skeletons, right? Chitin, wings, all these things showed up in this period. So what you have here are some examples of our amazing students and the kinds of things they're building. I think this may be the Accelerator's great strength for bringing things to the world. It's our students. And I'd like to talk about each of them, but I'm going to move on. So, what will the future of instruction look like? This is like a big question. And so let me show you two pathways. One is the automation pathway. Basically, it's going to automate the way we teach, and it's going to try and get the kids to be automated to some extent. So the goal is to increase the speed and accuracy of performance. By far, the biggest efforts are creating tutors, right, that personalize. Here's an example from Khan Academy. And so over here is the problem. And then student's not sure what to do, so the student says, give me the answer. The tutor is fairly smart and says, I can't give you the answer directly, but I can help you figure it out. Let's start by simplifying the expression and so forth. So there's a tremendous amount of effort doing this. It's basically automating the role of a teacher or a tutor in this case. So there's great things about this. It's going to enable personalization at scale. It's competency-driven. It's not age-driven. And if it works well, it frees up time for enrichment. So kids can do other sorts of activities and projects. It also fits the structure of school right now. So you can imagine it'll be quickly adopted, right? The downsides is it entrenches fairly bad ways of teaching. So if you remember the problem that I showed that you had, it's a terrible problem. Right? There's no reason the student should be spending lots and lots of time drilling how to learn this. Right? And so my concern about the tutors is it's the same old instruction, and the tutor's job is to mop it up if it wasn't good. The other concern is that the AI is controlling the student. Right? You may think the Socratic tutor, the student's in charge, but Socrates, that the people he's talking to were never in charge. He was controlling it. So that's maybe a downside. So there's another path, AI and augmentation. And here you're using these tools to help people surpass themselves, what they can do on their own. I'm going to use one of my favorite examples. It may be getting old, and I think Renata may have gone beyond this. But basically, she does this. She teaches architecture at Stanford, and she has the students make the blueprint on the left. So they make their own blueprint, right? And then she puts it in a very smart CAD system that makes the building. And then she takes the building and puts it in Unity, so there's a physical interpretation of walls and things like that. And then she does this very clever thing, right? So the students couldn't do all this by themselves. They need these smart tools. She then puts the student in the environment in a wheelchair, so they can begin to experience sort of what is the nature of this building. And this helps motivate why there's all these regulations and rules, and it'll help the students be able to think in the future about what do I do if I have an intersection of two hallways. This video seems to share a little more than I'd like, where we're following the person in the bathroom. It seemed like an interesting choice for this student to visit their thing. Here's an example that my team did with the help of Ruben and Kathy. We made a simple app where students can create a graphic novel about sustainability issues. This is the Great Oxygen Event. This is when cyanobacteria showed up. They produced oxygen, and over 1 billion years, the atmosphere changed to an oxygen atmosphere, which killed just about everything, because oxygen is toxic, but then it made space for what we've got now. So here, the child has written the prose and made the prompts for the images, and then the tool creates the images and puts it in the comic book format. I am Earth, heavy with heat and choking on gas. Not everyone's the same. Here's the drawing, the graphic novel by another kid. So that makes sense. The child's learned about this. Now they're trying to make a graphic novel to tell the story of the Great Oxygen Event, and the computer's drawing the pictures for them. So we had a control condition where the students, another group of students, otherwise identical, had to draw their pictures by hand. So one's with the AI, one's with the hand. And then afterwards, we asked them a number of questions. So the comic I made really showed my own ideas and voice. And so you can see the AI and the hand-drawn are nearly identical. So this is really interesting. So this is one of the drawings. This drawing from 1 billion years ago has buildings in it. There is no chance this child thought to put buildings in a drawing of 1 billion years ago. Yet they think it's their ideas just as much as the people who drew it. So this is important, because if you think that's yours, you don't think you're cheating. So the issue of what counts as cheating is going to be a big one, because when I use these tools and I put things into it, I think it's me. So there were other things that were good. The AI allowed them to think more about organizing their ideas, solving problems or pushing through a tough part, persistence, this is good. Revision is really good. The tool makes it very easy to just do it over and over. And then an interesting thing is they're using this very engaging technology and they leave it to go read so they can do better. And that's the prize, right? If someone's playing a video game, they don't leave the video game. And here they do, so they can learn more. And then these were asking students questions. We also gave a post-test. It turns out if you use the AI, you better understood how and why it occurred. So here's a case where this is going way beyond what the students could do. It's augmenting them. So I think the strengths of this approach is it removes the motivation to teach, right? If I'm having guests over and I'm cooking a dinner, I probably don't want to cheat. I want to make it myself and make it great, right? And it's sort of like hobbies. You go beyond right and wrong, right? The push isn't to just be accurate. Because of these new formats, you can integrate the science of learning. So we know a lot more about how people learn than we did when the current educational system was developed. And then the student controls the AI, right? They're telling it what to do. The downsides, it's really hard to overcome the inertia of the past. People know what school was, and this is different. And it's hard to get them to be willing to say this would count as education. Because, when I was in school, I memorized poetry, and I liked doing that. The other challenge is how are you going to integrate formal knowledge? So in these kinds of environments, it's difficult to sort of get algebra lessons built in. So I think that's an interesting challenge for researchers and innovators. So now, will people need to know anything in the AI future? You sort of want to be able to answer that. I really love this image because there's a quote from a professor where he says, tell you what, you write your essay with ChatGPT, I'll have ChatGPT grade it, and then we can just all go to the beach. So I kind of like that closed loop. Why is the human even in there? So I think there's this mistake that it's on the internet. Why should I learn anything? It's on the internet. And the answer is knowledge is incredibly important, and you need it to interpret the world. So I'm going to give you a readout, and I'm going to not let you bring your prior knowledge to it, okay? And you'll sort of get this experience of looking at something where you really don't have a lot of knowledge. So go ahead and read this. So you understand at the word level, you can parse the sentences, but you can't make a model of what's going on, right? This is what prior knowledge is for, helps you make a model. Let me show you what knowledge buys you. This passage is about washing clothes. Go ahead and take a look again. Suddenly it all makes sense, right? So the AI comes out and it gives you this stuff, but you don't have a lot of knowledge. You're not going to be able to make a deep understanding of it. You'll understand it at surface level. So knowledge enables us to interpret what the AI writes. You underestimate how much you know compared to a fourth grader when you look at the output of the ChatGPT. Second one is, knowledge is good. Like you really don't want the AI going to the museum for you. You sort of want to be able to appreciate it and, geez, lovely colors, whatever you do. There's always this debate about procedural skills, right? So I love this. The teachers are protesting against calculator use. It feels a lot like Stanford faculty around the AI. There's a lot of faculty trying to ban it. But then there's Leibniz, who invented calculus at the same time as Newton. And they came up with a mechanical machine that could do multiplication. And he's like, why would you not use this? It'd be so stupid. So you need to know enough about what it is you're trying to do with these tools to be able to use them effectively. But maybe you don't need to memorize so much as you used to, right? And then the tools are going to keep changing. So it's not the tool per se. It's sort of the knowledge that enables you to wield the tool. So what will people need to know? The old stuff, foundational knowledge and abilities, things like proportionality, germ theory. You want to know those things. These generative concepts and experiences, they help you approach the world and appreciate it. You also need mastery of repetitive tasks, right? When you read, you really want to be able to see those words really fast. You don't want to be figuring out each time. And so the way you do that is you repeat, right? And so you develop mastery. The thing is, you don't need mastery of everything. So I taught algebra for 5 years, and I would use this formula. I'm just trying to see how many people have a slight flicker of recognition of what this is. It's the quadratic equation. We would spend 2 weeks learning this. I've never used it. I'm not sure it's much value, right? So we need to rethink what are the key things that people need to learn. On the new stuff, I'm calling them intellectual virtues. You need strategies and attitudes that you saw with the kids who were making the graphic novel. They were revising. They were dealing with the ambiguity of what it does. They were trying to get feedback from each other. Really important will be judgment, right? The ability, when it spits out something, you got to be able to judge it. It's very knowledge dependent. You can educate these things. The environment naturally pooled for it, but you'd want to help them get better at it and be able to explicitly use it. Responsibilities for creation. This is a new thing. You know, I can make a fake of you and put it on the internet really fast. And so that's a new kind of responsibility. And then finally, I sort of all the ones that went up there, I wasn't a fan of critical thinking. I did like adaptation. Because no matter what happens, the tools are going to keep changing. So you need to prepare students to be able to adapt. And there are ways to do this, but it doesn't involve drill and kill. So to conclude, what is the number one benefit of AI for improving learning? It blocks the refrain I hear the most when I try and suggest there's something different, right? People realize this is something different. That's why it is the number one question at any event. Right? So thank you for this chance. And last night I was taught 6-7. So let me see if I've got it right. It's like 6-7. Yeah, did I get it? Yeah. Okay, thank you.